Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl on your face when you're sleeping. Flying high into the sky, some of these passengers met terrifying events, while others happened to catch petrifying plane sightings and chilling landings. Let's board onto some of the craziest plane flights that will make your eyes pop out. Plane with one wing. While flying high into the air, this plane went all out of control as one of its entire wings fell off mid-air. The footage shows the fly performing a roll when the trailing edge of a wing, which controls movement, came right off. Dangling into the air, the pilot managed to land his plane quite safely, even with a section of his plane's wing tearing apart during an aerobatic flight. Giant plane between the buildings. Imagine sliding down your curtains to find a giant plane hovering outside your building. Speaking of which, the terrifying moment shows a Royal Australian Air Force jet flying shockingly close to a high-rise building in Brisbane. With just 300 feet above the ground level, the planes weave between the buildings carefully so as to avoid throwing chaos while showing off this eye-popping stunt. Because all it would take is one small mistake, and those buildings along with people would be toasted away. Plane wing on fire! In February 2020, passengers on a Delta Airlines flight from Edinburgh to New York were heard screaming and crying frantically. Well, why? Let's check it out. Shockingly, the clip shows flames blowing out of one of the plane's wings, which at first appeared as if an unknown substance is leaking out of the plane. It just happened minutes after takeoff when the passengers aboard realized they were on fire and burst into an absolute panic mode. Fortunately, the flight made a reroute while safely diverting to Prestwick, Glasgow, after stating it was a mechanical issue with the aircraft. Drone crashing the plane. While taking a dream flight beside the window seat in the middle of the clouds, the passenger came across rather an unusual view. The footage shows an object crashing against the wing of the plane while shoving it off into the air. Look again. The steady object just came clashing right into the wing. Not sure what exactly could hit the wing so hard. Some ways it's a drone, while others claiming it to be a giant bird. Well, as always, we are more interested to know what you guys think of it. Extreme aviation at beach. What would be more exciting on a beach than a glass of cocktail, sandy toes, and sun-kissed skin? Well, it turns out a beach in St. Martin called Mayho Beach is famous for its thrilling low-pass plane landing views. But how low would be too low? Speaking of which, the insane plane sight is low enough for people to even touch the wheel, unless they don't want their finger to get ripped. Anyhow, this is because Mayho Beach is unusually close to the runway and is directly under the flight path, with aircrafts approaching over the beach at altitudes of less than 100 feet after every 15 minutes. Near miss crash. While many people are calling it a target fixation, see how this plane came to defy its catastrophe? The video shows a firefighting jet RJ-85 making a low pass during a fire-retardant drop and coming very near to the top of the subsequent ridge after the drop. This near crash occurred somewhere in North Vancouver, British Columbia, when the pilot kicked up dirt as he flew over the ridge after a successful attempt at extinguishing the wildfire. Mid-air lightning strike. While a passenger airline was flying over Paris, France, one passenger named Mitchell Stewart recorded just the moment when suddenly a huge lightning struck the mid-flight plane. The mind-boggling footage shows the plane cutting through the clouds as a massive beam of golden lightning struck at the wing as if it's shooting a bolt of electricity or a laser into the sky. Although a lightning strike on an aircraft is not dangerous, as aircrafts are designed to withstand lightning strikes. Bursting into flames. While passengers believing they will not survive, the scary footage from the inside of the plane shows the engine swinging in flames as the pilot kept trying to make a safe landing. Turns out, in February 2021, when United Flight 328 was heading towards its journey, it kind of burst into flames after experiencing a catastrophic engine failure. With around 231 passengers and 10 crew members, the plane made an emergency landing at the Denver International Airport with one of its engines falling into pieces. Landing on a busy road. In April 2019, a small plane with engine trouble made a thrilling emergency landing to join the morning rush commute just outside Seattle. The footage captured by police's dash cam shows the plane hitting the runway as it thunders down the road to come to a stop at the red light with the rest of the cars on the road. Thanks to the genius officer who turned the red lights on as soon as he realized the plane was going to join the traffic. Aircraft atop of the river. A U.S. Airways plane with 155 people on board ditched into a chilly Hudson River in January 2009. The incredible clip shows this giant plane floating in the middle of the rivers as the pilot made sure everyone aboard was safe. Well, eventually each passenger was brought out safely on dry land. However, while explaining the cause of this incredibly terrifying landing, the pilot claims that he had experienced a bird strike upon takeoff from New York and declared an emergency landing to avoid any further trouble. Plane stuck in the city. In January 2020, an Iranian passenger plane ended up belly down in the middle of the highway after skipping off the runway during its landing. The plane was carrying around 136 passengers from Tehran, where it landed just in time to avoid a bigger yet more crucial mishap. Anyhow, after investigation, it turned out that the back wheel of the plane had broken off and that the plane had skidded on its fuselage, and since saving lives was the pilot's first priority, he decided to make a landing in the middle of the jam-packed city, quite safely. Jumping off the plane. Take a look at this clip next, featuring a daredevil climbing on the top of a wing of a plane as it dangles into the air. Turns out this jaw-dropping stunt was performed by a man named Chris Nielsen flying over Phoenix, Arizona, before he decided to get a unique jumping spot. And what would be more unique than a flying wings plane? So he just crawled out to the front of the wing, got up on his feet before setting himself free in the air. Fish propelling out of plane. If you have not yet seen fish fly, take a look at this next clip with fish falling out of the plane in hopes to replenish American lakes with wildlife. This shows up to 35,000 of fish raining out of the plane in order to restock the lakes with its fish population. It appears that this kind of aerial stocking is done when the Utah Division of Wildlife Resources needs to restock the state's high elevated lakes and streams with tiny trout, which according to the Wildlife Agency is an absolutely painless process for the little fish. Seconds away from the collision. Captured at Barcelona, Spain, the dramatic footage shows two planes when they are almost about to collide on a runway. The near-miss incident occurred between a Boeing 767 from Russian airline UTAR and an Aerolines Argentina's Airbus A340 at El Prat Airport. Just when the Boeing, coming in to land on the runway making its final approach, came face to face with the Airbus, getting ready for a flight when the two crossed their paths. Quite smoothly, I would say.
And now, let us move on to our subscriber pick of the day.
And now, let us move on to our subscriber pick of the day. This image was sent to us by a subscriber. Similarly, if you ever wish to know more about an image you come across, just send it to us. Who knows? We might even feature it in one of our videos. Today's subscriber pick points towards this picture of a plane from Aloha Airlines, Flight 243, with its roof ripped off in the middle of the air. The incident occurred on April 28, 1988, when around 65 passengers boarding on Aloha Airlines had to face this traumatizing mid-air explosion in a fraction of a second after a hole tore off into the plane at 24,000 feet above the ground. And like that, the plane roof got ripped apart into the air. According to the investigation, it was due to hurricane-force winds and freezing temperatures. However, luckily, apart from flying in a headless plane while living on the edge for 13 whole minutes, the pilot managed to make a safe landing at Kolahu Airport at the cost of just one life. Legendary beach landing. A World War II-era plane, which was taking part in the Cocoa Beach Air Show, Florida, somehow managed to perform its own show even before the real show could begin. The baffling video shows the plane landing on water as it glides over the waves, splashing down while stunning the beachgoers with an absolutely unrealistic view. The incident happened in April 2021, with the pilot claiming for an engine failure as he made an emergency landing in the ocean, which rescuers are trying to figure out how to get the plane out of the water. Flying under the bridge. This extraordinary clip shows a plane having a once-in-a-lifetime moment when it decided to play a little stunt while crossing a massive bridge. Sliding right underneath the Golden Gate Bridge, the plane had a near-miss moment before it backed up into the sky without even hitting the bridge. Well, do you guys think a plane could do such stunts, or is it just another hoax? See you next time!